Carsie Blanton saved my life. Not in a, like I was drowning and she threw me a rope kind of way. It was more like I was drowning and she threw me a musical rope. I first heard about Carsie, first name basis, or at least I think we would be, if she actually knew who I was. But, I first heard about Carsie when I heard her album reviewed on NPR, Fresh Air with Terry Gross. And the reviewer was comparing Carsie Blanton with singer-songwriter John Prine. And I thought, well, if she's going to compare him to John Prine, I need to know what this is about. Because John and I, again, first name basis, John and I went way back to my college days when singing Please Don't Bury Me at the top of my lungs had gotten me through a very arduous backpacking trip on the Appalachian Trail, where every trail said turn left and ascend. So if Carsie Blanton is being compared to John Prine, I am all in. And the song that was being touted as an homage to Mr. Prine was called Buck Up. And as the name implies, it's a song about keeping on when the going gets tough. Buck up, baby. Come on, sick 'em. Make 'em laugh if you can't lick 'em. And in short order, it became my anthem. A recent diagnosis of multiple sclerosis had really started to put limitations on my life. Whenever it just got to be too frustrating, I would put on Carsie and I would just buck up at full volume. It was my 3 minutes and 23 seconds of therapy. Well, shortly after I discovered my new best friend, Carsie, I discovered she was going to be in concert in San Francisco, and I wanted to go. I wanted to hear my new best friend sing my anthem just to me. If there were some other people in the room, so be it. I knew she'd be singing it just for me. The problem with this plan is that, again, MS had turned a spontaneous, let's go to a concert on a whim, into just a logistical nightmare. It's like, is there parking? How far do I have to walk? Are there steps? Is the bathroom accessible? And is it general seating or is it reserved seating? And is it even worth the effort? MS had just shrunk my social life, my adventures, my soul over the time, and it felt like death by 1,000 slow, debilitating, degenerative cuts. But I really wanted to go to that concert. So I bought tickets and I started planning. Phone calls were made, answers were put down in my spiral notebook. Come to find out, there's no street parking, meaning there's not parking in the city. There was no reserved seating. In fact, sometimes there weren't even seating because apparently it was more of one of those kind of stand-up mosh pit kind of venues, right? MS and me in a mosh pit, probably not a good look. But I thought, you know what, maybe this would work. Maybe this would be all right, because maybe it would be so packed in there that I could not possibly fall over. Like I would be held up by the collective mosh of the pit, as it were. So the day came, concert day came, and off we went. I had my notebook, I had my plan of action. My wife Diane went along with me as my wing woman, and the universe was on our side. We got parking right out front on the street in the city, and when we got to the door, I found out that it wasn't going to be mosh pit standing, it was going to be cabaret seating. So instead of being pushed around and shoved around and held up by an undulating mass of humanity, I was going to be seated at a table with a cocktail. Awesome. Well, Carsie came out on stage with her fiery red hair and her matching red electric guitar and her sleeveless dress and her tattooed arms and her turquoise floral pattern boots. She had come to kick some ass, and she did, and I was transformed. I was just enthralled, and I felt young. I felt my old and shaky, vulnerable self fall away, and I felt like a new, young, damn the details persona take over. And when she sang my anthem just to me, I realized I could still have that joy. I could still have youthful discovery. I could still have those moments. I could actually see some life in front of me instead of just life viewed in a rearview mirror. And ever since that concert, every time I hear that song, I think about that feeling of invincibility. And I think about the night that a red-haired rocker sang my anthem just to me. Now, Carsie comes back in town every year or so, and I've gone to see her a few more times. I'm going to keep going and seeing Carsie so I can hear her sing my anthem just to me, and so I can continue to prove that I can still buck up, baby. Thank you.